Today I will explain you unit 8 of ms02. So this unit belongs to block 3, and this block 3, it is performance management and potential assessment, and the name of this unit is competency mapping. So one by one, so many different topics are given in this unit, which I will explain in detail. So the first topic which is given here in this unit is competency approach to job analysis. Okay, so here I will explain how competency approach can be used to analyze the job. So competency is first here let's learn about the competency. So let me select to draw. So here this is what competency. So competency in a skill requires knowledge, experience, attitude and feedback. So it is about competency in a particular skill requires knowledge about that skill, experience in that skill and attitude of the person towards that skill. Okay, and the feedback also. So competency in a skill requires knowledge, experience, attitude and feedback. Performance assessment criteria clearly define the acceptable level of competency in each skill required to perform the job. So whatever it is, the performance assessment criteria, so that clearly define the acceptable level of competency. Means what should be the level of competency for each skill required to perform the job. Individual's level of competency in a skill is measured against a standard established by the organization. That means whatever it is the competency of the individual, okay, whatever it is the competency which the individual possesses in a particular skill is measured against a standard, and that standard is established by the organization. The competency based job analysis involves the following steps. So the steps are given here. The following steps are given for competency based job analysis. So here I can underline this competency based job analysis. So the first step given, identification of major job functions. So first of all, identify what are different kinds of major job functions are there in that particular job. So the different functions we have to identify in that particular job. Second given, identification of skills performed within each of the major job functions. Means what are different kinds of skills are performed in each job function. So this is first, this is second. Third given, generation of several drafts to be reviewed by employers and employees and modified to accurately reflect the skills performed on the job. So you see here, generation of several drafts to be reviewed. So many things should be reviewed related to drafts by employers as well as employees to modify accurately to reflect the skills performed on the job. Means both, means whatever different drafts are there, okay, in that particular job function. So those drafts should be reviewed and modified accurately to reflect what are different kinds of skills are required, or different kinds of skills performed on the job. Then development of an occupational analysis chart. So here development of an occupational analysis chart given. So occupational analysis chart should be developed. Identification of performance standards for each skills using a competency based rating scale. You see here, identification of performance standard. So here identification of performance standard for each skill using a competency based rating scale which describes various levels of performance. So here performance standard should be identified to describe various level of performance. So these are 5 different steps in competency based job analysis. Uses of competency based competency approach in an organization. What are different uses of competency approach in an organization? So first given, it provides a systematic approach to planning training. So it is used for planning training in the organization. Second use given, customizes. It customizes training delivery to individual or organization. So if we know the competency of each individual in the organization, then we can customize. So we can customize the training delivery to the individuals according to their competencies, we can say. Evaluates suitability of training program to promote job competence. So evaluate suitability. So whether the training is suitable or whether the training program is suitable or not for the job competence, that can also be used. Means here suitability of training program can be established or can be understood by this competency approach. Then provides employees with a detailed job description. So competency approach provides employees with a detailed job description. It also develops job advertisements. Competency approach helps in personnel selection. Competency approach assists in performance appraisal. It also it targets training to skills that require development. So competency approach guides career development of employees, and lastly develops learning programs. So these are the uses of competency approach in organization. Then here given benefits of the competency approach. Some benefits given here. So first benefit given, increased productivity. So first given increased productivity, second given improved work performance, third given employees know upfront what is expected of them, fourth given the approach builds trust between employees and managers, and fifth given employees are empowered to become partners in their own performance development. Okay, now next topic given here, competency mapping. So competency mapping is a process to identify, you see here, competency mapping given here is a process to identify key competencies for an organization or a job. So it is a process to identify key competencies for an organization. Means what are different kinds of competencies are required for the organization or for a job, and incorporating those competencies throughout the various processes of the organization. Okay, means first of all, competency mapping, we can say that is a type of process to identify competencies required for the organization or for a job and incorporate. Okay, or incorporate means add those competencies, incorporate those all competencies to various processes of the organization. So various processes of the organizations may be job evaluation, training, recruitment. Competency is defined as a behavior. Okay, competency is defined as a behavior rather than a skill or ability. So we can say competency here, it is a kind of behavior, so that is communication, leadership, rather than a skill or ability. The steps involved in competency mapping are as follows. So following are the steps for competency mapping. So first given, conduct a job analysis by asking incumbents to complete a position information questionnaire. So position information questionnaires are going to be here. Conduct a job analysis by asking incumbents to complete a position information questionnaire. The primary goal is to gather incumbents from the primary goal is to gather from incumbents what they feel are the key behavior necessary to perform the respective jobs. Okay, here in this first step means in conducting a job analysis by asking incumbents to complete position information questionnaire, the primary goal is to gather from incumbents what they feel are the key behaviors, means what are the key behavior which incumbents think necessary to perform their respective jobs. Using the results of the job analysis, a competency based job description is developed. Means on the basis of job analysis, a competency based job description is developed. Then in the third step, with a competency based job description, mapping the competencies can be done. So now, so we have job analysis, so to conduct job analysis to gather information so about what incumbents feel that are key behaviors necessary to perform the job. Then use the information from the job analysis to develop here a competency based job description is developed. Then whatever it is the job description, competency mapping can be done with the help of job description. One can use the results of one's evaluation to identify in what competencies individuals need additional development or training. Okay, on the basis of mapping of competencies with the help of job description, one can find, okay, or one can evaluate to identify in what competencies individuals need, in what competencies individuals need additional development or training. Methods of competency mapping given. First method, it is given assessment center. Second, given critical incident technique. Third, given interview techniques. Fourth, given questionnaires. And fifth, given psychometric tests. So these are the 5 methods of competency mapping. So first, assessment center. So assessment center is a mechanism to identify the potential for growth. What is this? A mechanism to identify the potential for growth. It is a procedure that uses a variety of techniques to evaluate employees for manpower purpose and decisions. So various kinds of techniques are used to evaluate employees for manpower purposes, means for different purposes. Employees are evaluated by using various techniques in this assessment center method of competency mapping. It uses situational test to observe a specific job behavior. So here situational test also used to observe a specific job behavior. The assessors observe the behavior and make independent evaluation of what they have observed, which result in identifying strengths and weaknesses of the attributes being studied. Now you see here, the assessors observe the behaviors and make independent evaluations of what they have observed. Means assessors observe the behavior of the individual, and which is to identify the strengths and weaknesses of the individual. So here, by observing the behavior of the individual, the strengths and weaknesses are identified by the assessors. International Personnel Management Association has identified the following element essential for a person to be considered as assessment center. So you see here, following elements identified the following element essential for process to be. So now you see a process is said to be or considered to be as assessment center if following elements are present. Okay, any process of assessing the individual will fall into the category of assessment center if the following elements are present. First, given here, a job analysis of relevant behavior to determine attributes, skills, etc. for effective job performance and what should be evaluated by assessment center. Now the first given here, a job analysis of relevant behavior. So here the job analysis is done to find out the relevant behavior and also to determine different attributes and skills for effective job performance. Second element given, techniques used must be validated to assess the dimensions of skills and abilities. Means whatever techniques are used should be related or should be validated to assess the dimensions of skills and abilities. Means whatever skills and abilities are going to be assessed, so those techniques should be valid for assessing those skills and abilities. Multiple assess techniques must be used. So many, or you can say multiple techniques should be used to assess. Assessment techniques must include job related simulation. So here whatever techniques or whatever assessment techniques are used, so those techniques must include job related simulations also. Multiple assessors must be used for each assessed. So multiple assessors should be used. Assessors must be thoroughly trained. So whoever is assessing should be thoroughly trained. So it means trained personnel should assess. Systematic procedures should be used to record observations. Assessors must prepare a report. And the ninth one given, all information thus generated must be integrated either by discussion or application of statistical techniques. So as by using statistical techniques or by discussion, so all the information generated must be integrated. Assessment center comprises a number of exercises or simulations which have been designed to replicate the tasks and demands of the job. So you see here, so assessment center comprises a number of exercises or simulations. So many different kinds of exercises or simulations are there in assessment center, and those exercises or simulations are designed to replicate the tasks and demands of the job. Means whatever tasks are there and whatever demands of the job are, so those things are going to be replicated in simulations and different exercises. The main types of exercises are group discussion, in-tray, role plays, case studies, analysis exercises. So these are group discussion. This is the first kind of exercise which assessment center use. Second kind of type of assessment center given, it is in-tray. Third given role play. Fourth given case studies. Next the second type of or second method of competency mapping here given, critical incident technique. So what happens in critical incident technique? The critical incident technique can be described as a set of procedures for systematically identifying behaviors that contribute to success or failure of individuals or organizations in a specific situation. So you see a set of procedures. So critical incident technique, it is a set of procedures for systematically identifying behaviors. Means here the main goal is to identify behaviors that contribute to success or failure of the individual or the organization in a specific situation. Okay, it means we can say in a specific situation what are different kinds of behaviors are there which are responsible for the success or for the failure of individuals or organizations. So those behaviors are identified in critical incident technique. It is useful for obtaining in-depth data about a particular role or set of tasks. So it is useful in-depth data. If there is need to get in-depth data about a particular role, then critical incident technique can be used. It involves the following 3 steps. So the first step given, gathering facts about the behavior for a particular job. Then content analysis, so content should be analyzed. Third given, creating feedback, means identify what aspect of the interface was responsible for the incident. Means reasons for the incident are identified. So gathering facts, content analysis, and creating feedback or identifying the interface responsible for the incident. Third method for competency mapping, it is given interview. So interview given, the interview consists of interaction between interviewer and applicant. So here it is what consists of interaction between interviewer and applicant. It handled, if handled properly, it can be powerful technique in achieving accurate information and getting access to material otherwise unavailable. So it is very important. If handled properly, then interview can be very useful technique in achieving accurate information, to get an accurate information which otherwise will not be available. So questionnaire. So this is the fourth method of competency mapping. Questionnaires are written list of questions that users fill out. So this technique can be used at any stage of development depending on the questions that are asked in the questionnaire. Often questionnaires are used after products are shipped to assess customer satisfaction with the product. So often questionnaires are used after products are shipped to assess, means after shipping the products to customers and the satisfaction level of customers. If the organization wants to know the satisfaction level of customers, then questionnaires can be used. Psychometric test given. Psychometric test is a standard objective measure of a sample of behavior. So here given, psychometric test is a standard objective measure. So here given, standard objective measure of a sample of behavior. It means, so objectively a sample of behavior is measured in psychometric test. It is standardized because the procedure of administrating the test, the environment in which the test is taken, and the method of calculating individual scores are uniformly applied. So this is a standardized, psychometric test is standardized because procedure of administering the test, the environment in which the test is taken, and the method of calculating individual scores are uniformly applied. It is objective because a good test measures the individual differences in an unbiased scientific method without the interference of human factors. Here given, it is objective. So why this psychometric test is objective? Because a good psychometric test measures the individual differences in an unbiased scientific method without the interference of human factor. It means it is objective as it is not biased and uses scientific method without interference of the human factors. So psychometric test can be classified into two groups. So first given here aptitude test, second given achievement test. Aptitude test predicts how well a person would be able to perform after training and not what he has done in the past. It means it is about predicting the future. It means it is predicting about the individual in the future, that whether the person will be able to perform better after training or not. Okay, and it is not about what he has done in the past. And the second given, so this is only to the first, so B here to second achievement test. So these tests measure the level of proficiency that a person has been able to achieve. You see, proficiency that a person has been able to achieve. They measure what a person has done. It means it measures the proficiency level that a person has been able to achieve. Means so what has happened in the past, or what has been done by the person in the past, and what he has learned in the past. So these things can be measured by achievement tests. I think that's all about this unit.